Tall Film Nerd reporting in. A brand new movie has been released in the brand new Spider-Man trilogy, perhaps. And with a new director at the helm, Destin Daniel Cretton, I'd say let's review this brand new movie, Spider-Man: Brand New Day.
We ready?
4 years on from the events of Spider-Man: No Way Home, Peter Parker is having to live life anonymously whilst being the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. His girlfriend and best friend's lives have moved on, and he's struggling in a world that has forgotten who he is. I just want to say right out the gate, this is one of my favorite entries into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'd put this up there with Spider-Man: No Way Home, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and Thunderbolts. I think this was the right story to tell in the right fashion following the events of No Way Home. I feel like in the franchise, New York is very much a character in the Spider-Man world. It's, of course, the environment that he inhabits, and it's the citizens of New York that really are integral, to be honest, in the Spider-Man universe. And I think the fact that you sort of have this refresh, particularly 5 years removed from the John Watts trilogy, yeah, absolutely the right call to make. Tom Holland in this film was terrific. I think you really feel the pain and struggle he's going through, particularly having to not be in his girlfriend and best friend's lives, but it's almost sort of having to check in on them, being the good-hearted character that Peter Parker is, really. It's a mature performance because there's been like some time between No Way Home and Brand New Day, and I feel like particularly comparing to his performances in Civil War and Homecoming, the wide-eyed, youthful Peter Parker, this is a more matured and damaged version of the character. I think Tom Holland does that very well, and I think having it 10 years on from his first appearance in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is a very interesting evolution of the performance. I'm really happy that Tom Holland decided to return to the role of Peter Parker because No Way Home could have been the end of the his version of Peter Parker, and I'm very glad he took the swing, no pun intended, in returning and giving us a whole new story and a brand new day. Also, no pun intended. Ned and MJ in the film, Zendaya and Jacob Batalon are great. They're now students at MIT, and they're throwing a party which Peter gets into. MJ has a boyfriend, and Ned is figuring out who Spider-Man is, which includes some really fun photo cameos from Flash Thompson and Mr. Harrington. It's sort of nice to have those characters from the previous films acknowledged in some way, even if it is a small photo cameo. I think it's still nice nevertheless. The rare scenes that we get with the three characters, with Peter, with MJ, with Ned, are great. I think the chemistry between the three of them on screen are great and so fun to watch. And this film, I feel, might have the best scenes with the three of them because there is that weight of them not knowing who Peter is, but there's some form of camaraderie and banter that they share. And which kind of makes it both heartwarming and painful to watch all in one. And I think that's what makes this film compelling. And we have a new friend in the movie. Well, new friend for the Spider-Man franchise, not necessarily to the MCU as a whole. The Punisher, John Bernthal returns. And he's a welcome addition to the film. I think he has a different dynamic to Peter Parker compared to Peter's dynamic with Doctor Strange in No Way Home, compared to Tony Stark in Homecoming in the Avengers films, compared to Nick Fury. There's a real butting of heads with these characters that come from completely different points of view, but there's a genuine bond between them as well. And it was very fun to see that. It's a very unique dynamic, and I thought was a really entertaining part of the film. Bruce Banner's back. Mark Ruffalo returns, and again, another a nice addition to the film. The scene between Peter Parker and Bruce Banner was quite nice, and talk about mutation and all sorts. Yeah, it's kind of cool and an interaction we've never like really had in the films. It's sort of I really have to like think back on whether they actually did interact in the franchise, and I don't believe they did. But it's kind of really cool to see Peter and Bruce interact, and then later on, Spider-Man and Hulk, which I feel was like a lifelong dream for a lot of Marvel fans, including myself. And it was, for the moment we had was really cool. Little nice action scene in the middle there as well. And yeah, he isn't in it too much, but you know, still welcome and intrigued to know what the future of that character will hold. I like Peter Parker's dynamic with the police detective, Jean DeWolf, played by Liza Colon-Zayas. I thought she was really good in the film and a really like fun character for Peter to interact with. There's the scenes where they're on the phone. Peter's talking as Spider-Man, even though he's not in the costume. It's just Peter Parker on the phone to the police detective, and there's some nice scenes involving a family, which I thought were really nice. There's something there that I thought was kind of magical, the scenes there. And yeah, she was a great addition and also like sort of could challenge Peter as well and really sort of put him in his place at times. So she was a great character in the film. And Sadie Sink as ooh, should I go there? Right, okay. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna put up full spoiler warning. I'm gonna reveal who Sadie Sink plays in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Sadie Sink as Jean Grey, which as a reveal in the film was kind of odd. I kind of was kind of surprised the way they announced who her character was, but I think gave a great performance in the film. She definitely left an impression, I've got to say, and I'm very curious to know where her character goes following the events of this film. As I say, left quite the impression, to be honest. And also, while we're in the spoilers field, Florence Pugh returns as Yelena Belova. She added a nice sort of light relief to the film. I don't think sort of overstepped the mark of comedy. I think it was pitched at the right kind of level. And there's a lot of lines in there that were very amusing when she's talking about the Avengers be like big potato and stuff like that. That was great. And I think Tom Holland said, if he would share the screen with another Marvel character, I think he did say Yelena. So that would be that, there we go. It's crazy to think she's been in four projects. She's been in Black Widow, Thunderbolts, Hawkeye, and Spider-Man Brand New Day. I completely got the order wrong, but yeah. And then we're going to see her in Avengers Doomsday. And I think she's sort of been like a character that's been really like, the fandom, I think, have really embraced her. And I mean, Florence Pugh's just a great actress across her work, really. We Live in Time is one of my favorite performances from her. And she is a great talent. So, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing her in Doomsday, and she was great in this film. And yeah, I feel like might really be one of the best post Endgame new characters that we've had. And we have more villains in the film. We got Tombstone, we got Scorpion, who I do hope comes back for a round two in another movie. It's good to see him, and it's nice that they paid off the post-credit scene in Spider-Man: Homecoming with Vulture and Scorpion. So that's all good. The action sequences throughout the film were brilliantly directed. I think the shot composition was great, particularly the final fight sequence involving the hand. I think there's a lot of fun web slinging action that Spidey gets into, particularly when he comes into his own as both Peter Parker and Spider-Man. It's a good character moment, and Punisher and Spider-Man share a nice scene at the very end. And as for Ned and MJ, they may or may never remember who Peter is, or will they? Tune in next week. Anyways, that was Spider-Man Brand New Day. I thought this was a very good film. It was very well directed. The casts were great. It's brilliant from a dramatic standpoint. I think the story was very strong. And I'm looking forward to seeing more of this world, this universe, with more Spider-Man. More like this, I'd say. 8 out of 10. Oh, and as for the post-credit scene, yeah, a Spidey's gone off world. But which one?